धारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जो की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जो की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यानंद विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत स्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शुतर शुत स्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु महाभगवत श्री गौरक्षरस बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। नित्याल्प विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानु गौरी गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम चैश्ल हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाते गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। Oh, and today, let me just look at the calendar really quick. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Suhrid Akinchan Maharaj. Don't know anything about him, but Jai Srila Bhakti Suhrid Akinchan Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva ki jai. Urja Vrat ki jai. Urjeshwari Raseshwari Shri Vishwabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki jai. And today we're going to be reading about Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Goswami Maharaj. So, Jai Nityalulla Pravishtam Vishwapad Śrīla Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalulla Pravishtam Vishwapad Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalulla Pravishtam Vishwapad Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalulla Pravishtam Vishwapad Śrīla Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalulla Pravishtam Vishwapad Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. All the associates of Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. All the disciples and followers of those associates ki jai. Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्रिषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। अंगश्यामलिमा छटा साई computer froze. अंगश्यामलिमा छटा विरबितो मन्दीकृतेन्दि वरं जाड्यं जागुडलोचिषां विदधतां पट्टाम्बरस्य श्रिया वृन्दारण्यविलासिनां हृदि लसदामाभिरामोदरं राधास्कन्दनिवेशितो जलभुजां ध्यायेम दामोदरम्। Vaivasmi tavaivasmi. Na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay Shiptascha kamadhitaranga madhye Kripamai tvam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Rasapriya Didi, Jai Shri Didi, Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, and all the other devotees watching now. Also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Jai Devi, Krishna Rose, and Ananda Pradayini, Vrinda Didi, everybody else, Dandavat Pranams. So we are continuing our reading of about Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja. We're reading from Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja's book, Sri Caitanya and His Associates. I've been starting late every day, so I don't know if we'll be able to finish this in this session. We'll see. Let's see how far we get. Okay. So yesterday we heard Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja tells the way that he met Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja, his first meeting with him and how he took his shelter of him. And now, preaching in Hyderabad. The notable citizens of Hyderabad, the fortress of Advaita Mayavadis, responded overwhelmingly in a positive manner to the pure devotional teachings of Srila Gurudev when he arrived there in 1959. Haribo Madhubala Didi. They were immediately attracted to him due to his beautiful and effulgent saintly appearance, and even more so by the magnetic effect of his compelling words. Haribo Vidilala Sadidi. Seeing their sincerity to serve the sadhus, and also by their request, Srila Gurudev decided to open a branch of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math to spread the doctrines of Prem Bhakti as enunciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Accordingly, a center was founded in the Pattarghati locality of Hyderabad. At first, it began to function from rented quarters adjacent to the main road, but later it was shifted to larger premises in Urdu Gully. Here, at the house of Lala Fakir Chand Agarwal, the property consisted of a courtyard, balcony, and 4 rooms. In the mat, daily puja was offered to Sri Giridhari and Sri Narayan Shalagram. Kirtans were performed at dawn and dusk, and festivals like Sri Janmashtami, Sri Annakut, Sri Gaur Avirbhav, and so on were observed in an opulent manner. In July 1961, the Assistant Secretary of the Mat, Sri Mangal Nilai Brahmachari, organized a special religious meeting. This was attended by the mayor of the Corporation of Hyderabad, as well as the Acharya of the Madhvacharya Sampradaya, Pejavara Math of Udupi, Srimad Vishvesh Tirtha Shripad Angalavaru, and the Accountant General of Andhra Pradesh, Sri R.N. Chatterjee. Many eminent persons came to visit the Math during this time. Upon Srila Gurudev's next arrival to Hyderabad on August 1st, 1961, the city's notable citizens welcomed him grandly. This time, he stayed in the well-known Balaji Bhavan in Himayat Nagar. Mr. Arbamuda Iyengar, the former Minister of Law of Hyderabad Nizam, Mr. Ved Prakash the Mayor of Hyderabad Corporation, Mr. P. Chandra Reddy, the Honorable Chief Justice of the Andhra Pradesh High Court, respectively, were the honorary chairmen during each day of the 3-day function that started on August 5, 1961. To participate in the installation of the holy deities of Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Vinodju at the Hyderabad Math, Srila Gurudev arrived there accompanied by Pujapad Tridandi Swami, Srimad Bhakti Gaurav by Kanas Maharaj, and other saintly persons on Tuesday, June 28, 1962. The head of the Math, Sri Mangal Nilai Brahmachari, received them at the railway station. The welcoming party consisted of notable citizens carrying an umbrella and fans, Chamar and Byanjan. A Western-style band played music, while intense Sankirtan was being performed. Many Marwari devotees accompanied Srila Gurudev from the station, singing Kirtan. On Monday, July 9th, Srila Gurudev saw to the installation of the deities according to the injunctions of Sri Pantaratra, Sri Pancharatra, and Sri Bhagavat. Srimad Bhakti Gaurav Vaikanas Maharaj was the chief priest, whereas Srimad Bhakti Bhudev Shoti Maharaj assisted. An 8-day special religious congregational program starting from July 8th was organized. On each of these 8 days, special dignitaries were invited to take the chair, and many notable saints of the Math spoke on various devotional subjects. On Sunday, July 15th, the deities were mounted on elaborately decorated chariots and taken around the main main thoroughfares of the city, accompanied by a very impressive procession of devotees loudly singing kirtan. This was the first time that such an event had taken place in Hyderabad, and it evoked a tremendous and enthusiastic response from all who had the good fortune to witness it. Stopping at certain places along the way, the devotees offered worship to their lordships, the holy deity forms of the Supreme Lord, and also to Srila Gurudev. On July 3rd, a few days prior to the deity installation festival, a cultural group from the United States, interesting, accompanied by Dr. Srinivasacharya, they came to visit and was given a warm reception by the head of the Math, Shripad Mangal Nilai Brahmachari. The American party consisted of professors from different universities across the United States. They met and exchanged cordial greetings with Srila Gurudev, who, upon their request, enlightened them with a talk on the subject of the life and teachings of Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu. The following contains the gist of his discourse. Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on this earth in 1486 AD in Sri Dham Mayapur in the district of Nadia. From childhood, he came to be known as Nimai Pandit all over India due to his unparalleled scholarship. Nimai meaning born beneath the neem tree, Pandit meaning scholar. At the age of 24, he took the vow of renunciation, sannyas, and proceeded to the holy city of Puri. From there, he traveled for 6 years to various places of pilgrimage in both North and South India. During this time, he spread Krishna Bhakti in the hearts of all living beings, man, bird, or beasts, especially the most fallen. He was intent upon saving them from the grip of Maya. He then returned to Puri, where he remained up to the time of his disappearance from this world. At Puri, he was constantly immersed in Krishna Prem and tasted the bhav, the transcendental mood of Srimati Radharani, together with his intimate devotee associates, Sri Rai Ramananda and Sri Swarup Damodar. He terminated the visible display of pastimes at the age of 48. Sri Chaitanya Dev has pointed out that the sole objective of our lives is to achieve love of God, Krishna Prem. Attachment to objects of an impermanent nature with materialistic yearnings is the root cause of our bondage and all sorrows. Eternal peace can never be attained by amassing material ego and sensory pleasures. I can't talk. We can reach the shores of eternal peace only by turning the mind away from all that is perishable and instead placing it at the lotus feet of Sri Bhagavan, who is the form of all existence, all knowledge, and all bliss, Satchidananda. Citing the evidences from the scriptures, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu negated the arguments for nirvishesh, for impersonalism, and established savishesh, personalism, to be the ultimate causal reality. Because Sri Bhagavan, possessing a transcendental form, is devoid of mundane distinctive features, he is sometimes referred to as nirvishesh. Moreover, he is savishesh, for he possesses transcendental supramundane qualities. It would be foolish to equate the mundane, base features of the material world with those of Sri Bhagavan's pure transcendental spiritual form. One need not be concerned that attributing variegatedness and personality to Sri Bhagavan will, in some way, negate the concept of God's being infinite. Without a doubt, Bhagavan should be understood to be infinite and eternal. His potency knows no bounds, but it can be seen that there are three manifestations of that potency that are prominent. One, the internal potency, the Antaranga Shakti. Two, the external potency, the Bahiranga Shakti. And three, the marginal potency, the Tatastha Shakti. All living beings are of the nature of the Tatastha Shakti of the Lord. They are thus free to choose to live either under the umbrella of Sri Krishna's internal potency, the spiritual realm, or in the temporary material world, which constitutes Sri Krishna's external potency. Those who turn away from Sri Bhagavan, mesmerized by his external potency, begin to think of themselves as Lord and Master of all they survey. This is ignorance. The ego of false enjoyerhood inevitably leads to hatred, aggression, and malice. Sri Bhagavan is the only true master and enjoyer. All energies, including all living beings, are under his dominion. The Jivatma is an infinitesimal particle of the potency of Sri Bhagavan. It goes without saying that a part cannot be happy independently, having separated itself from the whole. If attraction to material enjoyment persists, and no attempt is made to turn toward Sri Bhagavan, then neither the individual, nor the family, nor even society as a whole will ever attain true and lasting peace. Where there are many centers of interest, conflict becomes inevitable. If, however, love for Bhagavan becomes the focal point for all, then immediately all are seen as being related to each other. Then love and a sense of unity becomes spontaneous as a natural consequence. It can be seen that love for one's own family can easily lead to a clash within the family of another. If one's interest is pivoted to one particular locality, province, or country, this will lead to disputes with other localities, provinces, or countries. However, being in a relationship of love with Sri Bhagavan, who is the shelter of all, one will have no quarrel with anyone. In the modern world, the powerful nations are engaged in a highly competitive production of nuclear weapons and the launching of satellites into space. The consequences of this could be disastrous. The founding of the whole world as a single powerful nation may solve these problems, but without offering worship to Sri Bhagavan, everlasting peace which transcends the mundane plane will forever remain elusive and altogether impossible. Srila Gurudev concluded by expressing the hope that the bonds between America and India could be strengthened by means of cultural exchange programs. The professors were delighted to hear the Bhajan Kirtan and the Nam Kirtan interwoven with the glories of Sri Gaurasundar. To fulfill their desires, they were happily presented with a pair of kartals to remember the special musical quality of the Bhajan Kirtans. The devotees were happy to see how the guests who were unacquainted with Indian manners and customs had quickly adjusted to the situation, sitting on floor mats and partaking of the Lord's prasad. On July 15th, upon the invitation of the governor of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Bhimsen Sachar, Srila Gurudev, along with his sannyasi godbrothers and brahmacharis, went to the Raj Bhavan, the governor's house, and spoke Sri Harikatha. Highlights of this lecture appear below. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated that Nam Sankirtan is the ultimate goal of mankind. Initially, the tongue which is coated with a bile of ignorance might fail to relish the exquisite flavor of Sri Krishna's holy name. However, by the gradual practice of renunciation, it will become possible to do so. Analogously, even the best sugar candy seems bitter to a jaundiced tongue coated with bile. However, by regularly tasting it, the tongue gradually experiences its sweetness. Similarly, the holy name of Sri Bhagavan will slowly but surely cure all ailments and reveal its inner greatness and magnificence. Sya Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pitopatapta Rasanasya Narochikano Kintvadaradhanudinam Kalushaiva Jushta Swadvikramad Bhavatitar Karamar Mula Hantri. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Each and every living being has the rights to listen to and chant the holy name of Sri Bhagavan. But this is not so in the case of customary Vedic religion, which is inhibited by a bewildering array of rules and regulations. Thus, if Sri Bhagavat Dharma in the form of Sri Nam Sankirtan penetrates the hearts of the masses at large, then a firm bond of unity will arise. Cursed by the nature of the present age, Kali Yuga, mankind is madly attracted to material objects, completely lacks control over the senses, and is perverted with sicknesses of all kinds. Consequently, the Yuga Dharmas of the previous 3 ages, namely Dhyan, Yagya, and for the Treta Yuga, Dhyan for Satya Yuga, Yagya for Treta Yuga, Archan for the Dwapar Yuga. They cannot be applied effectively in this era. Taking into account the seriousness of the malady, we can see that the prescribed medicine is proportionate in strength. Thus, the scriptures advise us to take the medicine of the holy name, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. In the age of Kali, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way for attaining the ultimate goal. Then the chanting of the holy name, the chanting of the holy name, the chanting of the holy name. It's from the Brihan Naradiya Puran. Okay, so that is Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja preaching in Hyderabad from 1961 to 1962, I think, right? Now, the Spiritual Summit Conference at Kolkata. The Temple of Understanding of Washington, D.C. in the USA organized, the Temple of Understanding of Washington, D.C. in the USA organized a historic 5-day Spiritual Summit Conference starting from October 22nd, 1968 at the Birla Academy of Art and Culture. Interesting. The purpose of the Congress was to bring unity among world religions. It was attended by religious leaders representing Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs, Baha'is, Jews, Confucians, Zoroastrians, etc. The Hindus were represented by most revered Srila Gurudev, Om Ashtatarashata Shishimad Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja Vishnupad, Swami Shri Chinmayananda Ji, Dr. Raghavan, Swami Lokeshwarananda of the Ramakrishna Mission, and Professor Amiya Chakrabarti of New York State University. The chairman of the International Committee of the Temple of Understanding was the wife of Sri B.K. Birla, Srimati Sarala Birla. Many prominent personages from the USA, China, Japan, Sri Lanka, Africa, Tibet, Thailand, and other countries of the world, as well as from different provinces of India, participated in the conference. The B.K. Birla family took on the responsibility of seeing to the accommodation of the guests who had come from outside. Invited by the Birlas, Srila Gurudev visited their residence on Guru Sadai Road to discuss topics related to the forthcoming summit. Mr. Finley P. Dan, the executive director of the Temple of Understanding, and Mr. V.G. Rathi came to Sri Caitanya Gaudiya Math at 35 Satish Mukherjee Road to formally invite Srila Gurudev. That's in Kolkata. They had a long discussion on how this whole thing I think is in Kolkata, right? So they had a long discussion on how an atmosphere of understanding could be created among the different faiths. Srila Gurudev also discussed the same issue with Mrs. Dickerman Hollister at Birla Academy. A brief synopsis of the recorded lectures was later published in Washington under the title, "The World Religions Speak on the Relevance of Religion in the Modern World." For the promotion of peace, the representatives gathered on Friday, October 25th at Shivpur Botanical Gardens and offered prayers. Present was Srila Gurudev were Pujapad Chidandi Swami Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, and the secretary of the Mutt, Chidandi Swami Srimad Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Maharaj. Shri B.K. Birla had arranged for, he's writing about himself in the third person. Shri B.K. Birla had arranged for a car to be at the disposal of Srila Gurudev around the clock. Unable to refuse the persistent invitations of Mr. Birla and his wife, Srila Gurudev attended the afternoon celebrations at their house. However, since it was the occasion of Kartik Vrat, he only partook of fruits. The hospitality of the Birla family is praiseworthy. Srila Gurudev delivered the following speech in English at the Birla Academy of Art and Culture. I heartily welcome the organizers of this symposium. I've never seen that word before. The symposium of their attempts to explore the impartial and liberal approach to different views of religious faiths in this world, and to find out how a world fellowship of different religions or a unity of hearts amongst human beings can be promoted. There are two methods of approach. One, the sincere, real, and practical approach relating to the actual state and nature of human beings. And two, an idealistic approach having little or no practical value, merely indulging in the luxury of high-sounding words. If we sincerely wish to obtain real and abiding effect, we should face the facts boldly. The truth is that there exists no 100% identity amongst individuals, as they are all conscious units possessing independence of thinking, feeling, and willing. Individuals, as a result of their different actions, achieve separate environments and paraphernalia. Every individual has his peculiar nature distinct from any other. So obviously, individuals will vary in their opinions and tastes, and this is quite natural. It is unnatural to attempt to forcibly engage individuals into one fold, faith, or particular ideology. Accordingly, cultivation of tolerance of others' views is essential for world peace and unity. Indian sponsors of religion appear to have that insight and tolerance. Hence, many independent views have cropped up in India and have flourished simultaneously. Want of tolerance makes us sectarian, and that spirit motivates us toward the forcible conversion of others, which brings turmoil and unrest to the world. Religion should give equal scope to all individuals for their respective spiritual development according to their attributes. Indian saints have classified the nature of human beings into three broad groups: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. Sattvic people are wise, sincere, generous, and non-violent. As such, they have an altruistic mentality and render disinterested service. Rajasic people are egoists. However, they are active and do good to others with the motive of getting a return of their actions for self-aggrandizement. They don't tolerate harm to themselves and have the spirit of taking revenge. Tamasic people are indolent, out and out egoists, and are of violent temperament. They are indiscriminate in their pursuit of enjoyment. They completely disregard the interests of others and will do anything to fulfill their selfish desires. So Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic people vary in their tastes, habits, and nature. 3 forms of teaching religion have been prescribed for these 3 groups, according to their eligibility, giving them scope for gradual elevation. These 3 modes of teaching are related to the apparent self, and as such, are changeable. There are still higher states of religious existence which transcends those 3 qualities and relates to the eternal natural function of the real self. If we want quantity, we must sacrifice quality. And if we want quality, evidently, we shall have to sacrifice quantity. Both cannot be achieved at one time. However, the primary points to be noted here is that there should be tolerance amongst sponsors of different religious views and respect for others' views, as well as equal scope given to all for their spiritual upliftment from their respective statuses. Another point to be noted here is that we should not have the patience to understand the underlying spirit of different religious faiths and not merely indulge in disputes in regard to the ritualistic aspects of religions, which will certainly vary in different parts of the world in accordance with the change of climatic conditions and environments. Nowadays, we find lack of discipline rampant in every sphere of human life, political, social, economic, and even in education. Student unrest is one of the most serious problems of the day. It is extremely difficult to proceed with constructive work when people are prone to indiscipline. To fight against disruptive tendencies and indiscipline, a radical treatment of the minds of the people is required. Here we feel the necessity of moral and spiritual values in human life. There are two ways of treating diseases, pathologically and symptomatically. In pathological treatment, the root cause of the disease is ascertained first, and then the remedy is prescribed. The process of symptomatic treatment may be easier, but it does not have a lasting effect. It may give temporary relief, while treatment through the pathological process brings about permanent relief. To determine the root cause of unrest, we ought to first determine the meaning of the self. I strongly believe that ignorance of our real self is the cause of unrest, discord, and anxiety. The real self is not the physical tabernacle. It is something other than the gross and subtle bodies. We consider the body to be the person as long as we observe consciousness in it. The moment the body is bereft of consciousness, it loses its personality. I am I when the conscious entity, that is the entity that thinks, feels, and wills, is present in me. And I am not I when it is absent in me. Hence, the entity whose presence and absence makes me me, and not me, respectively, must be the person. The conscious entity, the soul, is designated as Atma in Indian scriptures. Atma is indestructible. It has no origin and no end. If we plunge deep into the matter, we can trace our existence to the absolute conscious principle, whom we call Godhead, the fountain source of innumerable conscious units. Godhead is termed Satchid Ananda, i.e., he is all existence, all knowledge, and all bliss. Individuals are points of rays emanating from him, and as such, are one of his eternal and coexisting potencies. Individuals cannot live independently. They are all interconnected and coexisting through retaining their own individual characteristics. It has already been stated that the differences between individuals are unavoidable as they are conscious units. Now, the problem is to find a common ground and interest for the solution of these differences. A sense of common interest can be fostered among individuals if they know that they are interconnected, they are parts of the one organic system, and are sons and daughters of the one Father. Here is the task of all religions, to teach people that all beings of the world are closely interrelated. Although steadfastness or firm belief in God, according to some particular faith and eligibility of the individual, is congenial for healthy spiritual growth of every individual, religious bigotry, which begets enmity, is condemnable, as it is against the real interest of the individual and society. Real religion teaches love for one another. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propagated the cult of all-embracing divine love, which brings universal brotherhood on a transcendental plane. According to him, forgetfulness of our eternal relation with the Supreme Godhead Sri Krishna is the root cause of all afflictions. Sri Krishna is the God of all gods, the Supreme Person having all existence, all knowledge, and all bliss. He is beginningless, yet the beginning of all, and primal cause of all causes, The word Krishna means one who attracts all and pleases all by his wonderful, enchanting beauty, majesty, munificence, and supremacy. This denotes the highest conception of Godhead with all perfections. He is the object of all love. So remembrance of Sri Krishna, our God, is a divine panacea of all evils. The easiest and most effective way of remembering God is chanting of the holy name, which can be practiced by all at any place or any time, irrespective of one's caste, creed, religion, age, health, or economic, social, or educational status. In Vedic culture, we find the theory of the cycle of time within the period of infinite time, which has 4 stages in accordance with the predominance of religiousness and irreligiousness. The 4 ages are designated as Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. In Satya Yuga, the first age of the cycle of time, wisdom predominated in men, and as such, they were aware of the painful and transitory nature of the world, and thereby were not fascinated by it. Concentration without interruption was possible, and meditation was prescribed as the common religion suitable for all. In Treta Yuga, when the spirits of activity predominated, and people were attached to worldly objects, yajna was prescribed as a common religion to divert the attention of the people from material objects of attachment and turn their mind towards him. In Dwapar Yuga, when people were addicted to worldly objects and sensualism, Archan was prescribed as the common religion for gradual attainment of concentration of the mind by directing all the senses and objects of attachment to his service. And the present age, Kali Yuga, when people are firmly attached to worldly objects, are too much given to sensualism, and are always diseased, they are incapable of performing dhyana, or yajna, or archan rightly. And as such, the chanting of the holy name of God is prescribed for them. Today, the world is making tremendous scientific strides. Modern scientists are performing wonders. But in spite of their marvelous accomplishments and pride in 20th century civilization, it is puzzling to see that science is so much engaged in inventing destructive weapons like atom bombs, etc., and thereby imperiling the whole human race. In any moment, there may be a conflagration, and the whole world may perish. Saints are deeply concerned as to how to avert such a calamity. Mere material scientific accomplishments are unable to save the world from such danger. Of course, scientific inventions or achievements as such are not condemnable. Everything depends on the proper use of things. Science may be used for the good of humanity and also be misused for the destruction of human civilization. It is imperative to consider the problem and diagnose the disease of conflicts and mutual distrust among nations and individuals. So long as nations and individuals have separate centers of interest, tension is inevitable. Nobody can avoid it. This world is limited. When there are many I don't know that word. Anyways, when there are many claimants, let me just look up that word. A person making a claim. Oh, claimants. So it's a person making a claim, especially in a lawsuit or for a state's benefit. Okay. So when there are many claimants for one limited object, disputes among these claimants are unavoidable. It is because of this that Indian saints differ from the leaders of the West or from the westernized leaders of our own country in their manner of tackling the problem of peace. In fact, genuine saints of the world are wise enough to see the fundamental defect in the attempt of the so-called best brains to achieve world peace. They assert with great emphasis that a practical solution to the problem is not possible so long as individuals do not change their present craving for sensuous enjoyment and greediness for mundane wealth, and directs their attention toward the unlimited, the infinite, and the absolute. The heads of different religious groups should clearly and emphatically point out and teach their followers the painful and perishable character of worldly objects and the futility of sensuous enjoyment. They should create interest in man for the worship of God, which brings about real happiness. Unless and until the eternal relationship of the people is known to them, and they realize that they cannot exist or be happy without the Godhead, who is all bliss, the natural inclination of the people toward Godhead and diversion of their attention from the material aspects of life cannot be affected. As long as people do not have this realization, they will maintain the conviction that their only satisfaction lies in the realm of one's own gross and subtle senses. This is termed lust. Hindrance to the fulfillment of lust breeds anger, and that in turn brings conflict and malice against individuals and nations. So long as people do not understand that they are inseparably connected, and until the activities of the people are God-centered, mere sentimentalism or fictitious ideals will not be able to foster real love amongst individuals. If we believe that our interest lies in material prosperity and sensuous enjoyment, lust, discord cannot be avoided. Want of patience and tolerance originates from lust. Mere belief in the existence of God will be of great benefit to humanity by restraining them from committing sins and teaching man to do good to others. They will have fear of punishment for bad deeds and encouragement to seek rewards for good deeds. Any activity which leads to the infliction of harm to other animate beings is detrimental to our own interests and will bring harm in return. We will not be encouraged to harm any individual, not even any sentient being of this world. If we can love the absolute whole, the Godhead, we cannot have the impetus to injure any of his parts. So according to me, or the teachings of Lord Gauranga, divine love is the best solution to all the problems of the world. Wow, such a broad speech. It's really interesting to see the different ways that all these associates of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada would preach to the West. This is also reminding me of Srila Prabhupada's, yesterday I was reading Miracle on Second Avenue, and Srila Prabhupada joined this TV program. My father was actually at that TV program in San Francisco. And I think it was like one of Srila Prabhupada's first big public things that he's done. Like, well, no, not first big public thing, but like on that was televised or recorded. And Srila Prabhupada, there was a Christian and Srila Prabhupada, and they kept on asking the Christian all these like questions, and he'd give very like sectarian, narrow answers. And Srila Prabhupada would give these very broad, like all-embracing answers that like like they asked him, can one move towards God through reading the Bible? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, of course. And then they asked him about the Krishna guy about Bhagavad Gita, and he's like, anyways, it was what did he say? He said that, well, the path to the Lord is a very narrow path, and it's anyways, like that. And so everybody was favoring Srila Prabhupada in that. Okay, more preaching in Assam. Remembering Srila Prabhupada's instructions, Srila Gurudev returned to Assam nearly every year with a force of disciples and godbrothers in all situations of life. The immense efforts paid off as hundreds of men and women took to following the regulative principles and became his disciples. In some places, extremely unfavorable circumstances presented themselves. Nevertheless, Srila Gurudev remained undisturbed and continued to preach fearlessly. The great devotees who have completely surrendered to Krishna go wherever they wish without any worry. Nothing can impede their tendency to serve the Lord. Because their service has no basis in personal desire, it is, and so it is. Oh, I think there's a mistake here. Anyways, because their service has no basis in personal desire, it is unstoppable. Tata nate Mādhava tavaka kvachid brashyanti margat tvai bhaddaso hrida tvaya bhikupta vicharanti nirbhaya vinayaka ni kapamurdhasu prabho. O Madhav, your pure devotees have got firm love for you. They never deviate like strivers who are falsely thinking to be emancipated, so they do not fall down. The pure devotees, being well protected by you, can move in this world without any fear over the heads of the leaders of the impending persons. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.33. Srila Gurudev wandered from village to village simply to bring the greatest good to every living being, to turn them toward Krishna. Despite the difficulties, he traveled, sometimes by foot and sometimes by ox cart, in order to deliver the Lord's message. Some of the places he visited were Gwalpara, Dubari, Basugaon, Vilaspara, Kashikotra, Sidali, Agia, Depalchang, Vardamal, Lakshmipur, Krishnai, and Dudhnai in the Gwalpara district. Guwahati, Sarbog, Chaka Bazar, Ketaki Bari, Holi, Barpeta Road, Patshala, Tishun, Bijani, Rangia, Nalbari, Jalahagat, Bhantipara, Unikuri, and Amingao in the Kamrup and Barpeta districts. Oh my God, so many places. Tezpur, Tangla, Bindukuri, Rangapara, Dekia Juli, and Mangaldai in the Taranga district, Silchar and Hailakandi in the Kachara district, Shiv Sagar, Lakshmipur, Lakhimpur, and other important towns in eastern Assam, etc., and Shillong in the Meghalaya state. Most Assamese tribals are traditionally followers of the Bhagavat religion. Many Vaishnavacharyas, such as Shankardev, Madhavdev, Damodardev, and Haridev, preach the Bhagavat Dharma throughout Assam. The topmost leader, or Satradhikari, of Shankardev's school at that time, Narayan Dev Mishra, had great faith in our worshipable Srila Gurudev. Narayan Dev Mishra was the priest when Srila Gurudev came to Barpeta to preach in a vast assembly at the local school and college. He was especially attracted by Srila Gurudev's scholarship and his force of character, and invited him to his home. While in Barpeta, Srila Gurudev stayed at the house of Amiya Kantidas and Hare Krishna Das, who were later initiated and given the names Agadamandas and Haridas. When Srila Gurudev went to Barpeta from Holi in 1945, Shri Krishna Keshav Brahmachari, Shri Gopal Krishna Das Adhikari, Shri Trilokyanath Vrajvasi, Shri Madhavananda Vrajvasi, and Shri Bhuvan Mohan Das Adhikari were in his party. Another important individual was attracted by Srila Gurudev's personality was Jiveshwar Gosvāmī of Tinhun. He confessed to Srila Gurudev that he had been disenchanted with the Gaudiya Math after hearing one of its fiery householder preachers criticize another religious denomination and its doctrines. He praised Srila Gurudev, saying that though he said the same things, he did it in such a way that it was pleasing, and he felt none of the same disturbance that he did before. Such sweetness of expression was only possible for a transcendental personality of extraordinary character. As a result of his tremendous preaching efforts, Srila Gurudev established 3 mats in Assam, the first in Tezpur, then Guwahati, and finally Gwalpara. No mundane efforts can diminish the glory of a true guru or devotee. For the benefit of the world's conditioned souls, Mahaprabhu took Srila Gurudev out of a restrictive situation so that he could act freely to spread his gospel of pure devotional service everywhere. Though Srila Gurudev left the Caitanya Math at a fairly advanced age, he organized a great preaching effort throughout India by which countless men and women were attracted to the pure devotional religion which had been practiced and taught by Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In a very short time, he established major centers throughout India. Without the divine power invested in him by the Supreme Lord, this would have never been possible. Just as a wisp of cloud cannot hide the sun, no amount of envious disruptions can hold back the brilliant manifestation of a bona fide guru. Anyone who tries to do that will fall into the swamp of Vaishnav Aparad. All right, so that's our reading for today. Actually, let's just read this one paragraph. Then we've read one more section. Kolkata. Two distinguished residents of Kolkata, Manikanta Mukhopadhyay and the president of the homeopathic factory, Dr. S.N. Ghosh, that's Rukmini and Rukmini joined us yesterday. That's Rukmini and Rukmanjari's great-grandfather. So they were influenced upon hearing Srila Gurudev's vigorous delivery of Harikatha. They came forward in a time when Srila Gurudev was in apparent difficulty and became his right and left-hand men, taking the responsibility for the management and improvement of all the temples which he had established. Later, Kolkata lawyer Jayanta Kumar Mukhopadhyay was attracted by Srila Gurudev's effulgence, character, and words to take up many of the service opportunities sincerely in Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math for its all-round progress. Okay, so we're not going to continue reading this tomorrow because it is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. I guess we'll just have to complete this after Kartik, right? That's so like in 3 days from now. Let's see if we could finish it in one reading. That would be good. Yeah, I just thought since we started it, it'd be good to at least one time I've read everything on this. So, all right, I'll end here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. जय श्री सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय, श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय, श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय, जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय, जय श्री परम गुरुदेव की जय, जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री रूपानु गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय, श्री सपार्षद श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीगण की जय, श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय, श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय, जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री भक्ति व्रत नियम सेवा की जय, ऊर्जा व्रत की जय, ऊर्जेश्वरी रासेश्वरी श्री विश्ववानंदिनी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय, जय श्री and also जय Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, jai Śrīla Bhakti Dayita Mādhava Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, and who is it? Bhakti Suhrid Akinchana Maharaj ki jai. Hriya Shubha Abhirvav Titi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai. Priyaya Keshavashacha. Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta. Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandava pranams Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatharani Mataji, and all devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook like Ganga Mataji, Rasapriya, Jai Shri Didi, Madhubala Didi, Vidyalalasa Didi, Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, and all the devotees watching later on like Shachi Devi, Jai Dev Prabhu, Krishna Rose, Ananda Pradayani, Vrinda Didi, and everybody else. Dandava pranams. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so for anybody who wants to stay for Damodar Ashtakam, I'm going to sing that right now.
Uti, can I ask you something?
Oh, yes, Nari Haribo, yes.
Maybe I missed the year of the symposium, the gathering with the American delegation.
I think it was 1968.
Okay, all right.
1968.
Thank you.
And there's another Western thing, I think that was 1962, right? There's two different things with Western, yeah.
Wow, that's fabulous.
But the one that was really long that we just read, like the super long one, that was, I think, 1968.
Okay, yeah. Great, thank you. That's wonderful.
It's interesting to see how broad his was. It was like so broad. It was like really,
I know.
yeah, very, yeah.
And his articles are wonderful too. They're amazing. They're very poignant.
Yes, yes.
I like his writings.
Yeah, I really like that article. What is it? Amar Bhajan. Oops.
Mm.
Okay. Just opening up Damodarashtakam. Yeah, I thought at least once it'd be good to read what Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Gosvāmī Mahārāja writes in the Sri Chaitanya and his associates. So, all right, where am I looking for? Lasat Dalam. And also it's pretty convenient for me at this time because we just finished Damodarashtakam and I'm not ready to start another big thing. And so I thought this would just give me a few days to like prepare the next program. All right. Namamishwaram Sachiranandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyo Lukala Davamanam Paramrishtamathyanta Drutya Gopya Rudanta Muhurnetra Yugmam Rejantam Karambhujayugmena satankanetram Muhoshvasakam trirekham kakantha Stitagraivadamodaram bhakti baddham Iti driksvalilabhi ananda kunde swaghosham nimajantam akhyapayantam Tadiyeshitageshu Bhaktarjitatvā Puna prematastang Shatavritti vande Varam deva moksha Namoksha vadim va Nachanya vrinehang Vare sharapiha Idam teva purnata Gopala balam Sada me manasya vira samkimanya Idang te mukham bhojam avyaktanilay Vrittam kuntalay snigdharaktaischa gopya Mohushum vittam bimbarakta dharane Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhay Namo deva damo darananta vishnu Prasida prabhu dukha jalabdi magnam Kripa drishti vrishyati dina batano Grihane shamam dakshi drishyai Kuveratmajo baddha murtaiva yadva tvaya mochito bhakti bhajo krito cha Tatha prema bhakti swakame prayacha namokshe graho misti damodareha Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Dhamne Tadyodarayatha Vishwasadamne Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Nantalilai Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhikayai Tvadiyapriyayai Namo Nantalilai Devaya Tubhyam Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Damodara, Radha Damodara, Jai Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radhe, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur, Hari Ki Jai Shri. Oh, sorry, I already did Jaitwani. Right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow to read something about Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami. I don't know what we're going to read yet, but आम्